Hey there, it's Clay with ModernLove.life, where we help you get the great, loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not. Because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me, do me a favor by giving this video a thumbs up and by subscribing to the channel. When you do give videos like this a thumbs up, you're sending a message to the YouTube algorithm that these videos are good quality and that they might want to consider sharing them with other people who might need them or might benefit from them. So, please pay it forward to someone else out there who might benefit from, these videos if you like them. And it might help them find these sorts of videos. Okay, so, this is my Friday video, so I did want to share with you a little bit about what's going on in my life, and also, kind of tie this back to relationship stuff, obviously, too, because I know nobody's really just kind of listening to these videos or watching these videos because they, deeply and intimately care about my life. So if you don't know, my wife and daughter and I, we are in the process of hopefully getting a house. We have the house picked out. It's pending. We have our closing date a few weeks from now. And now it's just this entirely crazy, intense circus of trying to get all the paperwork in order. I mean, I seriously did not know that this would be basically a full-time job. It's like every single day our loan officer contacts us and says, hey, we need these documents. We need these things that we need to prove that you're a human being that earns a living or something like that. And it's complicated stuff. It's like, okay, I need to get on. So very complicated issue, but you may or may not know that Modern Love was actually started in Oregon, where we were living at the time. And then we now live in Seattle, which of course is in Washington State. And, so we have to prove that we have a business in Washington State, but it's actually a Oregon business doing business in Washington State. So we need to get documents from Washington and also Oregon, and it's they're government agencies, so they move at the speed of a glacier. And so we're trying to get these documents from them so that we can get the paperwork in order. It's crazy. It's a headache, and of course these are ancient websites and ancient government departments, so there's no way that you can just order these documents online or find them online or download them online or anything like that. You have to literally fax something into them. I mean, does anyone actually have a fax machine? I mean, I guess copy and print centers have them, but I can't imagine any person actually having a fax machine in their home anymore. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so we have this entire exciting circus that's going on that's completely, consuming a lot of my attention, and I'm unable to really deal. I mean, I really should have just taken an extra month off just to do all of this stuff. So if you have been trying to book a coaching call with me, just know that I have, at least for now, closed off the ability to book coaching calls with me for the next little while so that I can handle all of these paperwork emergencies, to prove that I am, in fact, a breathing human being who earns a living and can afford to pay a mortgage that is basically the same amount that we pay right here, right now, plus the amount of money that I was paying to rent out an office. Seriously, whatever. Anyway, that is a long, complicated story. And yes, I may, for those of you following the No Complaint Challenge, I may have switched my bracelet from one wrist to another a few times during this whole process. Anyway, yeah. So I have been on the last couple of calls that I did have scheduled before I realized I needed to box off this time. And, obviously, if this whole paperwork circus gets to a place where it's starting to calm down again, I will open up more slots for booking coaching calls if you want to. So, but at least for now, I'm kind of catching the pattern of, okay, my loan officer is going to contact me every single day and need complicated, difficult to get documentation of some form from me. So I see the trend. Let's just box it off. Okay. But if that does change, I will open up slots for coaching. So anyway, so I was on one of the last coaching calls that I did have scheduled before I needed to box off my schedule. And what I noticed was a common theme that has been sort of present to me over the past couple of coaching calls that I've done. And that is that, like, okay, what is it that actually makes me optimistic about a person's situation or not? What is it that I can look at a person's situation and say, like, okay, yeah, there's a lot to work with here. You have a good chance at making this work, or maybe not so much. And really, the main thing is, do you have the ability to connect with your ex or your partner on an emotional level? Do they seem at all interested or invested in connecting with you? If they do, if there's some sort of emotional component there, if it's present, if there is some sort of ability to connect and bond and communicate with them, then there's a lot that we can work on. We can work through a lot of the patterns and strategies that we have in our trainings, and that we can work through on coaching calls and things like that. We can definitely use that and leverage that to kind of get them to play their hand a little bit, to build out that emotional connection and all of that stuff. If, on the other hand, they're just like a completely closed book, they are, very strong no to interacting with you, to connecting with you and all of that, then that's a completely different story. It doesn't mean your situation is hopeless. It just means that there's a hinge that we need to, kind of pivot first before we can start to say, okay, there's something that we can really work through here. And that is, can we get the two of you back in contact? Can we get the two of you to actually connect on an emotional level? If that is true, and if this can be done, then all right, it is game time. There is something to work with here. If your ex is kind of, hey, I'm not sure if I made the right choice. I love you. I don't love you, but I'm in love with you. Or I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Or it's complicated. Or we should just be friends. We're incompatible. Sure, that kind of stuff. We can work with that. Okay. If they're just like totally shut off to you, and the two of you are not in contact, that's kind of like the mystery thing right there. So first of all, I would recommend that you try to get back in contact with them. If you can get back in contact with them and they are, open to taking things to a deeper emotional level, okay, great. We can take that and run with it, and we can definitely develop something meaningful from that. If, on the other hand, they're not open to that, okay, sure. At least you've given it a shot, and at least we have kind of worked through some of the possibilities of, like, okay, did you try this? Did you try that? Did you try this? And if we've exhausted those possibilities and they're still not open and receptive, then that is, to me, a sign that, like, okay, this is probably not something that we should really put too much effort and energy into. Yes, we can do things like leave an open door, like, you actually use the open door message that we outlined inside of ESP, and also connect and commit, both of those down in the links below if you're curious about those. But we don't want to just kind of like robo text them like once a week and see if we can eventually get them to respond or open up. Sure, send out a couple messages, see if they take the bait, see if they open up, see if they are receptive and willing to talk to you. If they are, excellent, we can work with that. But if they're not, then okay, now it's time to start pulling back our investment and focusing on other areas of our lives. All right, so that's really the main component that we look for in terms of like whether or not there is hope in your situation, or whether or not it seems promising or not promising. Okay, and most of the time when I'm on a call with someone, it's not that it's like, people don't really book a call if there's really nothing there. If it's just like, hey, I can't get through to my ex no matter what. People very rarely do that. Usually people who book a call, they're in contact with their ex, or they have the ability to be in contact with their ex, but they're just choosing not to because they're doing no contact or something like that. And it's like, okay, that we can usually work with if they're in contact, or if they're not in contact, it's like, okay, that's like the mystery box. We just need to try to contact them and see what happens. Whereas if your ex is just not talking to you or something like that, yeah, we can attempt a few contacts, and if they're open and receptive, great, we can work with that. If not, then it might be worth kind of dialing back the investment that we put on this. So, yeah, those are the main things that I look for when I'm trying to figure out if someone's situation is workable or not, if it makes sense for us to actually, work together in a longer term capacity or not. If you're hesitant about it, it totally makes sense to just, book like one call to see if it makes sense or not. Unfortunately, you can't do that right now with me, at least as of the time of recording this at the beginning of September. But assuming this paperwork circus calms down soon, I really hope so, I will open up more availability to talk to people. But yeah, we are hopefully going to make this house thing happen. Anyway, I'll keep you updated. Oh my goodness. I did not know this was going to be such a complicated issue. But anyway, yeah, take care of yourselves out there. Keep calm. I know that we are living through 2020, which is a doozy of a year for all of us, I think. But yeah, stay strong. Take a deep breath. Remember that you do deserve to be loved for who you are. I know that it's tough out there. I know that there's so many things going on in the world at large, as well as in our own individual lives. But just take a deep breath, stay centered. Remember that at the core of all of this, you deserve to be loved for who you are. You are a worthy person of love. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing broken with you. And if you do like these videos, if you do like the content that I create, please help me out. Hit that thumbs up button, help to share this content with other people, help to send a message to the YouTube algorithm that these are good videos that they should share with more people. Anyway, yeah, this has been my Friday, more personal, more relaxed update that I wanted to share with you, more podcast style update that I wanted to share with you. Take care, and hopefully I have some good house news for you guys next week.